and welcome back to Daily Buying Tips. I'm Dean Berman from Berman Buys. Today we're going to talk about why the cost to build a house varies around the country. This is from a buyer's agent's perspective, not a builder's. You would think to build the same house around the country would cost the same, but no. Even different regions within the same state can vary in pricing. As a buyer, it's good to understand this information, as it will help you in deciding on what to physically purchase, particularly if you intend to build. Depending on where you intend to build around Australia, there is a number of factors you should be aware of. The slopier the land, generally the more expensive it is to build. A more detailed house, such as a double brick house, will cost more to build than a lightweight house, such as weatherboard. Double-story houses will usually cost more to build because of the extra work involved, such as building stairs or putting an extra flooring layer in. In a capital city area, it generally is much easier to source materials and labor, whereas in a remote regional area, it can be much more difficult to source the materials or even labor, which can make it more expensive to build in the more regional or remote areas. A prime CBD location, however, can actually increase costs due to potential road closure permits and the requirement to potentially store materials in a different location off-site due to narrow sites or small sites in the city. Overly complicated houses or overly dense developments can often halt the approval process, as objections can usually occur from neighbours and surrounding properties. Demand and supply ultimately affect the cost of a build. A few demand-side factors are a growing local GDP, gross domestic product, or economy generally creates more disposable income, and with more disposable income, households are generally more able to renovate or build. Increasing property prices in a local area can increase the viability of building. For example, if it costs, say, $500,000 to undertake a whole project, and at the end of that project, that same building is worth $600,000, then more buildings will get built. Government grants is another key area which can make buying land and building more affordable. Here's a few supply side factors which can affect the cost of building. Rezoning of land and new land releases can put massive upward pressure on construction companies and builders in the local area to supply those new houses. Competing industries or large increases in demand for trades can enable the tradespersons themselves to actually charge maximum prices due to the scarcity of the trade that is in the region. State taxes, fees, and even insurances, from my understanding, can vary between states, and that can actually also affect the final construction costs for the builder. A project home builder constructing hundreds, if not thousands, of new homes a year will have generally much greater cost efficiencies than a custom home builder. Though interestingly, that same project home builder, if they're building in a secondary state to their dominant state, they might not actually experience those same cost efficiencies, and their pricing could actually vary dramatically between how they build in their dominant state versus in their secondary state, for example. According to recent figures, building a house in Sydney, Melbourne, or Brisbane can vary from a low end of, say, $1,700 to $1,800 a square meter for a single or double story house to a high range of $3,000 to over $5,000 a square meter. My key recommendation is, if you're looking to build a new house, make sure you understand why you're building it. Is it for yourself, or is it for an investment? If it's for an investment, make sure you don't overcapitalize.